And for more on URI and Providence, joined now by our contributor Kevin McNamara, has a new piece on WPRI.com outlining where the Friars and Rams are going with their schedule and, of course, cancellation of the Rhode Island Providence game. Kevin, to the college basketball fan who maybe isn't following this as closely as you are, they're thinking these two teams are a half hour away. During COVID, this is perfect. Why aren't they playing?
Well, I'd say the number one reason is that the NCAA reduced the number of games that teams can play in a season from 30 down to either 25, 26, 27. And, people forget these two teams are in different leagues and they have some already agreed upon games that they can't move right now. The Providence, it's pretty much Providence's call. It's their home game this season.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be in the Dunkin' Donuts Center. They probably won't have any fans at games in November and December. And they were locked into 24 games already. And clearly they didn't want to use their last three on another difficult game like the URI game.
So obviously more upside for a URI than a Providence because URI is going to need non-conference games to help an NCAA tournament resume. URI still has some non-conference games. When you see what they have on their slate, will that be good enough, whatever this season looks like? Let's say it just goes as planned. Is their schedule, what they have left, good enough based on what they do in the Atlantic 10 to make them have a competitive resume in March?
It's good enough, but it's incomplete right now. They have two games down at Mohegan Sun. Both games are good. The first one is going to be against Marquette, a Big East team. And then they have another Big East team, Seton Hall, coming into the Ryan Center, among a few others that are already scheduled. But they have 3 to 4 open dates. And I think if they replace 2 of the 4 with some high-quality opponents, then I would say no question they'll be strong enough. If all 4 are against, low majors, that's a little more challenging. It really puts an awful lot of pressure on them to do well when they play at Boston College, host Seton Hall, and play Marquette on a neutral court.
All right, so as you mentioned in the story, Providence now has 20 league games with the addition of UConn. Where will these games be played? Is the Big East still considering a bubble?
It looks like they're not, and I'm a little surprised by that. It looks like they want to play 2 games in December, and they will be on campuses. I would imagine those would be regional games, so I could see Providence and Connecticut, or Providence and Seton Hall and St. John's playing some contests in December. After that, it looks like that Providence will be getting on their private plane and jetting off to Butler and Creighton and everyone else. When they can take a bus, they would much prefer to do that. But it looks like business as usual, and really everything is fingers crossed going forward.
So you said no dunk, no fans. Are they going to play at Alumni Hall home games?
I can definitely see Providence playing home games at Alumni Hall this year. And I can see the same for some other teams, like Seton Hall, for example. They have a similar gym to Alumni Hall. It's called Walsh Gym on their campus. But I'm hearing the Midwestern schools, the Creightons, the Butlers, they're expecting to have fans. Marquette, they're expecting to have fans, as many as 5, 6, 7, 8,000 fans, which I think has people here in the East a little surprised. But that kind of speaks to, how different parts of the country are handling the virus.
What about the A10? Are they considering a bubble? And is URI, unless you want to go to Keeney Gym, which is in pretty rough shape at this point, are they playing in Ryan Center in front of no fans?
Yes, Ryan Center, no fans. Totally different dynamic. Obviously, Rhode Island doesn't have to pay any rent to play in Ryan Center.
Right.
So it works out well. They are not considering a bubble as far as I have heard thus far. They have 18 league games to get in. The Big East has 20. Not sure if they want to get any of those A10 games in before Christmas. It does make some sense because nationally, it looks like 2/3 of the schools nationally are sending their students, general population, home after Thanksgiving, not coming back. So It pretty much sets up a really long stretch between late November and mid-January where you could try to get some games in bulk.
Just so everyone, talking to coaches and administrators, is everyone's head spinning, being like, what are we doing? Or does it feel like they're in better shape today than they were maybe a month ago?
No, they feel as if they're in better shape. The NCAA came out on September 15th, I think it was, and put some parameters on the season. It's going to be delayed 2 weeks. You don't need 31 games. You only need a max of a 27. That sent like the assistant coaches around the country, the guys who do the scheduling, into complete panic because their dates went upside down. What dates can you lock in? What guarantee games can you get with no fans? A guarantee game at the Dunk where you bring in Central Connecticut, they might pay Central Connecticut $75,000.
Yeah.
With no fans at Alumni Hall, they might pay $5,000. So it really has thrown the non-conference scheduling part of everything up in the air. And then league-wise, you want these games to be on Fox, be on ESPN.
Right.
I can only imagine the craziness going back and forth with the TV networks right now.
Yeah, I don't know how many camera wells there are in Alumni Hall for all the different camera angles for Fox Sports, but certainly an intimate place. That'll be interesting. All right, your thoughts, your post-mortem on the Celtics, a team we thought that was more talented than the Heat, but Miami was the better team over the course of 6 games. What did you take away from their run in the bubble? Did the Celtics underachieve, and what is their future going to look like?
I think both of those talking points in your question are wrong. They're upside down right now. I don't think that Miami is less talented than Boston. I think Bam Adebayo is he was clearly the best player in the series. If you want the rising all-star among the young players, it's probably Bam and not Jason Tatum. I wouldn't have said that 2 weeks ago, but 6 games, he averaged 21, 11, and 5 assists, dominated, and Boston had no answer to him. As far as Boston underachieving, I can't disagree more. They beat the defending NBA champions in Toronto. They advanced further than Milwaukee, who was the best team in the entire NBA up through the start of the pandemic, to get to the Final Four of the NBA with this team. I think
without LeBron and without LeBron and without the Bucks, they had the clear path, right, to get to the finals. We thought.
Well, they had. There's no question. If you asked me at the start of this series, are they going to beat the Heat? Yes, I would have said that. But after seeing the Heat and seeing Bam, seeing Tyler Hero, seeing how much Goran Dragic and Jimmy Butler have left, those 4 are better than any 4 that the Celtics have. I mean, it's as simple as that. This team has a great core, young core, with Tatum and Brown and Kemba Walker. They are not the problems. The problems are the pieces around those.
Right. Yeah, they were pretty quiet at the trade deadline. Guys the Heat got made a contribution, like Andre Iguodala, even the former Celtic, whose name I'm forgetting right now.
Yes, Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder. Shaky, but
no question.
Couple big shots.
Yes.
All right, good stuff, Kevin. I appreciate your intel, and read his story right now on WPRI.com, and we'll have a little news on your end, by next week?
Hope so. Well, I get some news next week, so it should be fun.
All right, that's what we call a tease in the TV business. All right, thanks, Kevin, so much.
You're welcome.